Have you ever paused to wonder why so many ancient cultures turned to elements to describe the world? Earth, fire, water, wind, metal, and void. These images appear across civilizations. But what if these systems weren't only about matter? What if they were really about us, our lives, our choices, our balance? Today, I want to take you into the heart of East Asian thought. We'll explore two systems that both revolve around the number five: the Japanese Godai, the five greats, and the Chinese Wuxing, the five phases. On the surface, they look similar, five ways of framing the cosmos. But when we look closer, we discover two profoundly different visions of what it means to live in harmony with the world. Let's begin in Japan with the Godai. The five greats are earth, water, fire, wind, and void. They arose out of a meeting of Buddhist cosmology, Taoist philosophy, and Japan's own way of seeing nature. And though they sound like physical substances, they're not really about chemistry or physics. They're about qualities, about archetypes of existence. Think about Earth. This is the ground beneath us, the solid stability of mountains and stone. Earth is what gives us foundation. In our own lives, Earth is that sense of being steady, dependable, and rooted when everything around us feels shaky. Have you ever had a time when life was uncertain, but you found strength just by staying grounded? That's Earth. Now, imagine water. Flowing, yielding, adaptable. Water doesn't resist. It finds its way around obstacles, carving valleys over time. In our own experience, water is that ability to remain flexible, to move with circumstances instead of breaking against them. Perhaps you've had to let go of rigid plans and simply flow, trusting you'll find your way. That is the wisdom of water. Then comes fire. Fire burns, transforms, and illuminates. It can warm and inspire, but it can also destroy. Within us, fire is passion, drive, creativity. It's the spark that ignites action. But here's the caution. When fire runs too hot, it can consume us. Think of those times when enthusiasm carried you forward, or when anger burned too strongly. Fire is energy, but it needs balance. Wind is movement, freedom, and breath. You can't see the wind, but you feel its presence. It carries seeds, whispers through the trees, shifts the course of a journey. In us, wind is openness to new ideas, the exchange of knowledge, the agility to respond with subtlety. Consider how a single conversation can change the course of your thinking. That's wind at work. And finally, there is void. This is the most mysterious of the five greats. Void is emptiness, but not barren nothingness. It is the fertile ground of possibility, the silence from which all sound arises, the unformed potential from which creativity springs. In Buddhism, this is shunyata, emptiness as interconnection and limitless possibility. In your own life, think of the moments of quiet, of stillness, when new insights come. Void is that open space of awareness. We see the Godai in many places in Japanese culture, in Buddhist rituals, and in the five-tiered stone pagodas of temple grounds, where each layer represents one of the five elements. In martial arts, where Miyamoto Musashi, the great swordsman, framed his Book of Five Rings around the five greats. Earth was his foundation, water, his adaptability, fire, his intensity, wind, his understanding of others, and void, his ultimate mastery beyond technique. But the Godai isn't just for warriors or monks, it's for you and me. Ask yourself, how grounded am I? Do I flow like water when change comes? Do I keep my fire in balance? Do I allow new winds of knowledge to move through me? Can I sit with the void, the empty space, without rushing to fill it? Now let's journey to China, where we find the Wuxing, the 5 phases. Here, the vision is different. The Wuxing isn't about elements as building blocks. It's about processes, movements, transformations. Developed in the Warring States period and refined during the Han Dynasty, it became one of the great frameworks of Chinese philosophy. The 5 are wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. Wood is growth, expansion, the upward thrust of spring. Fire is heat and transformation, burning and spreading. Earth is centrality, stability, nourishment. Metal is contraction, structure, refinement. Water is depth, adaptability, and storage. But here's the key. The Wuxing is not static. These phases are constantly interacting. There's the generating cycle. Wood feeds fire. Fire creates earth as ash. Earth bears metal. Metal enriches water. And water nourishes wood again. And there's the controlling cycle. Wood penetrates earth. Earth dams water. Water extinguishes fire. Fire melts metal. Metal chops wood. This system became the foundation of Chinese medicine. The liver is wood, the heart is fire, the spleen is earth, the lungs are metal, and the kidneys are water. Health is balance, no one phase overpowering another. Politics, too, was explained by Wuxing. Dynasties were said to rise and fall according to these cycles. Even music was mapped to the 5 phases, each note harmonizing with the cosmos. So what do we see when we place these 2 systems side by side? The Godai is ontological. It tells us what reality is made of, both materially and spiritually. It reminds us of emptiness, of the unseen, of the deep structures of awareness. The Wuxing is dynamic. It tells us how things change, how patterns emerge and dissolve, how cycles of growth and decay shape life. One points us to void, to mystery and transcendence. The other points us to metal, to clarity, structure, and balance. The Godai is more inward, spiritual, and reflective. The Wuxing is more outward, practical, and systemic. Yet both are about balance. Balance between stability and change, between passion and restraint, between form and emptiness. Let's bring this closer to daily life. Imagine you are facing a difficult week. Let's look at it from the perspective of the Japanese Godai, or 5 greats. You may need earth to stand firm, grounded, and steady. You may need water to adapt when plans change. You may need fire to ignite motivation and act with energy. You may need wind to stay open, to breathe, to listen. And you may need void to stop, to reflect, to let new solutions emerge from silence. Or imagine you're working with the Chinese Wuxing, or 5 phases. Perhaps something in your life is growing, like wood, new opportunities taking root. Fire burns as your enthusiasm, but maybe it's burning too hot. Earth could be what grounds you, stabilizing your effort. Metal might refine your focus, cutting away distractions. Water may help you store your energy, carrying you into the future. Do you see how these maps can guide reflection? They don't just describe the world, they describe us, our patterns, our struggles, our potential for balance. In the end, whether you look to Japan's 5 greats or China's 5 phases, the message is clear. We are not separate from nature. Our lives move with the same rhythms as rivers and flames, as forests and winds, as cycles of growth and decay. To live well is to notice these patterns, to honor them, and to cultivate harmony. So I leave you with this reflection. Where in your life do you need grounding? Where do you need flow? Where do you need fire? Where do you need openness? And where do you need the courage to embrace the emptiness that makes everything possible? Thank you for joining me on this journey into the Godai and the Wuxing. If today's reflection spoke to you, I invite you to subscribe to the podcast, share it with a friend, or visit my website at www.jadedragon.online for more explorations into philosophy, health, and personal growth. Until next time, may you find the steadiness of earth, the adaptability of water, the fire of passion, the breath of wind, and the spaciousness of void in your own life.